Celebrate the new year and pick up your MonsterArts at Big Bad Toy Store at the link in the description.
Dragon Ball, horror, kaiju, and more. Steven's Toy Reviews.
Hey there, Collector Steven here, and I'm back with another SH MonsterArts review, and this is going to be the last one of 2021. What about Mechagodzilla? Don't worry, that's next year. And oh boy, we got a lot to talk about for there. But today we're taking a look at the SH MonsterArts Gigan 2004 Great Decisive Battle version. I'm going off of memory. And then I'm going to put in the thumbnail something rather funny, and then we'll compare and contrast to see how close I was to the actual title. Because this is long, like the Shinagawa Final Battle version for Kiryu, or Kiyu. Someone's going to comment. Anyway, Gigan here, originally released on the market way back in 2014. You can check my 10 Years of Destruction documentary to see if I was right on that one. And it happened. A lot of folks kind of just let it sit at retail because it was a general release and the price tanked. You could basically find it for $60 shipped. Now we move ahead so many years later, and it's a premium Bandai exclusive with a new paint scheme and more accessories at about $150 or so. Now, are folks going to be able to jump at that chance to get Gigan for a better price now that the original has settled down from its nearly $800 price tag on the aftermarket? Or should you just still wait and hope a new movie-accurate version does happen? It's not gonna. You should get this one. Let's take a look to see whether or not this one's worth adding into your collection. When the original Gigan figure released, there were some criticisms in regards to accuracy, and since this is going to be a repaint, just to kind of bring those things up again, yes, we're going to have the accuracy issues that some folks have, including myself. We do have the teeth, which are a little too thick that some folks didn't like, and for some reason, Gigan being sharp was a detriment to the figure. So that's kind of all encapsulated in the sculpt and paint department for criticisms that were brought up before. Gigan's supposed to be sharp, and to my understanding, the person who came up with the concept for this even more so robotic Gigan, the Death Trigger variant even as well, he sculpted this. So it's kind of like a Sakai concept Godzilla 2000. But at any rate, for this figure here, I do have to say that the sculpted details are, once again from the original release, fantastic. There are so many small details just caked in to this robotic chicken that really, you're going to have to look at them up close and personal, even in 4K, in order to really appreciate how awesome Gigan is. He is going to have that translucent plastic visor with a whole bunch of smaller details in there, basically coming out to be the equivalent of a compound eye, which is really, really cool. We do have some fantastic shading for the metallic parts on Gigan, including his hooks, his feet, his sails, and even the spikes all the way going down to the tip of his tail. I really don't have much to say here, except for going back to my original review of the original release and saying, yeah, Gigan looks good and the paint applications are really cool. Oh, you want a comparison with the original? Wait till the end. Gigan got that good articulation. Yeah, so he moves rather well. I mean, generally speaking, you are going to have some small things here and there. Most notably, we have this saw that's going to be running through his torso. That's going to hinder the articulation, of course. But yeah, he moves just fine. So what do we have? Well, mouth opens and closes. Is basically going to be on a ball joint. As you can see, you can kind of rock it around just a little bit. But yeah, that is basically going to be what it is. Head, I can actually show you here. It's going to be on a ball joint. And then that is going to be on a whole system of ball joints going all the way down to the base of the neck, which is interchangeable for the upgrade parts. So Gigan is going to be looking up about that far before we put some stress on the joints. And then we can situate the head to be a bit more screen accurate, if you will. And then Gigan is going to be looking down about that far. We can obviously twist and turn from side to side and get a little bit of rocker movement out of the neck as well, which is very cool. We do have the shoulder pads, which are on ball joints, so this way they can get out of the way of neck movement, as well as accommodate for that upgraded part for the neck. We do have the shoulders, which are going to be on ball joints, so this way they can move and spin around. And again, with those shoulder pads being on ball joints, those prevent them from getting in the way of the movement for the arms, which is very good. Now, there is going to be a hinge, so this way Gigan can T-pose. Very good. And where that is going to plug into the bicep, there is going to be a swivel there. So pretty cool. Gigan is going to have double hinges for the elbows, and the way that they plug in is going to be on a peg or a ball joint, so this way you can spin at the forearm part here just a little bit. On this one in particular, they're pretty tight. On my original release, Gigan, they're a little loose. However, the hooks or the chainsaws for the upgraded parts, those are going to be on ball joints as well, and they have a lot of expressibility there. So that's cool. Is expressibility a word? Don't know, but it's my video, so I'm going to say it. Now, a lot of folks have said that this saw here in Gigan's torso is a bit of an issue. In the original release, it was a bit more loose, but here it is actually on a ball joint, and we can get it to move out of the way. So this way, the ab crunch, that's on a ball joint, does have a little bit of freedom to move, most notably from side to side. So you can do that. I would not stress this too much just because, I mean, yeah, it can move, but it's pretty thin plastic. So realistically speaking, Gigan has just fine enough articulation where you don't need to do that. Now let's go ahead and take a look at what's going on at the hips here. So for those of you familiar with the old school style Figuarts, we are going to have the 1.0 pull down style hips. So that's going to be a hinge system there, and we do have a piece of sculpt covering it up. And then there's going to be a ball joint that plugs into the leg. Get that back in, so this way we can raise and lower Gigan's legs there just like so. And since they're on ball joints, we can get Gigan to kick out forward and kick backwards, make sure we're not colliding in with the tail there, and we're going to get about that much range of movement forward and back, and side to side. We're looking at about that much there. Now, you may have noticed there is going to be a plug-in right there where the leg sculpt plugs into the thigh at the hip joint, so this way we do get dedicated thigh swivels. Pretty cool. Now we are going to have double hinge knees, but due to the sculpt, unfortunately we're not really going to get a whole lot of range of movement, basically single hinge movement there. But what's really cool is that the knee joint is going to plug into the thigh in the lower portion of the leg on ball joints. So this way, as you can see here, we can get Gigan to move the leg around there. And then at the boot cut area, if you will, as some Marvel Legends fans call it, we are going to have a ball joint as well. So this way, as you can see there, you can turn Gigan's leg right there. Very good, very good. We are going to have a couple of different ball joints in the feet. So first and foremost, we are going to have at the ankle, ankle rocker, very cool. We are going to have another ball joint where the whole toe section plugs in. Very nice, cool. And then the actual die cast toe, that's a big toenail, is going to have a ball joint as well, and it can move on its own. Very nice. Now for the tail. We are going to have a system of ball joints here, and unfortunately, this is going to require that these tail spikes are not going to be uniform and evenly lined up, because if they were, then they would all just bump into each other and they would cause damage. So you don't really want to do that. You can kind of feign it a little bit, but it is what it is. And it is all going to go all the way up to the tip here. As you can see, you can spin there. Now, I didn't make mention of the sails on Gigan's back. The outer ones are going to go out on a hinge, and the middle one can go up and down. Now, for die-cast parts, it's basically just going to be the toes. That's really going to be it. Nothing else is made of die-cast here for Gigan, which is just fine, honestly, because die-cast, I think it's kind of a meme. Honestly, die-cast is really difficult to fix if it loosens up, so that's good. Can this move side to side? Kind of, sort of, not really. But yeah, articulation, Gigan is fantastic. And when he gets his upgraded parts, the articulation is basically going to be the same. Overall, very good. If you know how to move your figures, you have plenty of joints here to make Gigan look cool. All right, time to talk about accessories, and let me pull up my reference picture here so this way I know that I got everything correct. So Gigan is going to come with all of the accessories the original one came with, and that is going to be short, sweet, and to the point, the upgrade parts. So this way, when Gigan is quote-unquote reborn, you can display Gigan that way as well. We'll go over those individually. Gigan is also going to come with his little anchors, the shock anchors, the little cables. So that's rather interesting. And Gigan is also going to come with his eye beam effect. Now that is pretty neat as well. And they did it in a rather interesting way. So let's go ahead and take a look at those upgrade parts, which, I mean, honestly, they're kind of short, sweet, and to the point. Gigan is going to come with saws instead of hooks. So these are going to be easy to pop out. You're just going to have to grip them at the base of the hook and pop out. Now, there were some breakage issues with the original release. So if these are giving you trouble, just use heat. You will be fine. Now, with these chainsaws, they have little rubber tracks on them, so the actual blade spins. Go gentle. There's a risk of breakage. Now, Gigan is also going to come with the rest of the parts, so this way he can go into his upgraded form, which is going to include a new neck piece and different mandibles and horn. They're going to be a bit more jagged, so you can just pull on those to pop them out for the mandibles and the horn. For the neck, you're just going to have to pop off the head and then pull at the base of the neck that's already attached and pop the new one on. Again, we do have some sharp stuff here, so just go ahead and be careful there. Oh, by the way, speaking of sharp, here's going to be a replacement section here on how to do that if you are a little worried. And guess what? Yeah, I actually did hurt myself, so I do guess the criticism of Gigan being too sharp is a thing, but at the same time, it's Gigan. What did you expect? All right, so those cables that Gigan comes with, the G Crusher, Shocker, whatever they would be cables, these are going to attach into the default hooks that Gigan comes with. The original release, this isn't possible. I tried. So the way that this is going to work is you're just going to have to pop off the two little nubs that are going to be at the base of either the left or the right hook, and then you can just attach in the new parts. Now, those parts are labeled L and R. That's not going to be 2 for the left hook and 2 for the right hook. That's going to effectively be in and out. So it's going to be the same for the hooks. Just make sure you're using them appropriately, because if you don't, then you might break something. Now, for the actual hooks, the cables themselves, those are going to be on bendy wire. Here, well, I mean, honestly, it kind of looks like just straightforward bendy wire, nothing really going on there. But there are going to be little link sections that, out of the box, are all pushed towards the tip where those little hook parts, the insertion, I don't know what you would call those, they're all going to be pushed down there. You can actually slide these all throughout the duration of the bendy wire, so have fun with that to create a more accurate look. Last but not least, Gigan is going to come with his beam effect, and some folks have already said that they really don't like this part. To be honest, I think it's rather creative, and if you don't like the stand, which is going to be the biggest part, you can use a Tamashii stage support stand. Otherwise, that doesn't come with this to use this. So the way that this all works is you're going to get a little circular base and you're going to get a support arm. You pop the support arm in the base, and then there's a little ball joint at the top of the arm. You push the beam effect in there and you can actually move it around. So this way, if you want Gigan to be sort of crouched and fire up, you can do that. If you want to put Gigan in a flying pose, which there's no support stand here for Gigan to fly, you could do that as well. It's kind of like the world is your oyster here. Just have fun and aim appropriately. All right, so that's going to be it for the accessories. And wow, Gigan does come with a lot. So what else could Gigan potentially come with? Well, unfortunately, this is another instance where we have a flying character with no flight accessories, so that's a bit of a bummer. And one thing as well is that those blades on the chainsaw, it's a pretty good indicator that those may one day just snap. Whether that's going to be fault of Bandai or not, it's not really up for debate. We're not here to talk about that, so replacement options would be great to have as well. Otherwise, I think that this is pretty dang cool. And that's all I have to say on that. Yeah, if you need stands or other effect parts, you know I got videos to help you out though. Now let's go ahead and move on over to a size comparison. And I did my size comparison with the movie monster series Kaiser Ghidorah because really, I mean, these two go so well hand in hand together. So yeah, as you can see, this Gigan figure is, well, a repaint of the original, so the size hasn't changed. Now with that, let's go ahead and do a side-by-side comparison with the original. And I gotta be honest with you here, folks. I almost wasn't able to figure out once I put these up on the table, left, and then came back to figure out which one was which. But the Great Decisive Battle version is a little bit brighter in coloration, and the feet are going to be brighter as well. So they pretty much got real close to not changing much, but they did. They did. There is going to be a paint difference. But the biggest difference of all here, okay, on the original release, the mandibles and the horn, those basically didn't fit in the slots at all for Gigan whatsoever. These were known to be lost for folks. They put them up on the shelf, the mandible would fall out. You just got to go ahead and display your Gigan in the upgraded form now. Congratulations. Pretty much completely fixed on the Great Decisive Battle version. Nothing to really worry about here. So, buy now, skip, or wait for a deal. Like I made mention in the top, the original Gigan figure came out and it took a nosedive in price, and then in the aftermarket, it shot up. Now we have another affordable version of Gigan 2004 on the market. Again, unfortunately, it's not suit accurate, but it still looks very good. The articulation is fantastic, and the accessories now more than the original release. Quite frankly, here's the situation. If you didn't get Gigan the first go-around, you now have your second chance. And at this point, if folks don't have Gigan in their collection, it's just because they don't want the character. A better price than the aftermarket, more accessories. I would argue, even if it's slight better paint. Yeah. So at this point, if you missed the boat, see you later, alligator. Gigan is good.
Well, collectors, that brings us to the end of the video today, and I just wanted to take a second to thank you so much for watching. Now you've heard a lot from me, I'd like to hear a little bit from you. Drop in the comments down below whether or not you liked it, you hated it, or maybe you were somewhere in between. I also want to take an extra second here for a nice, humongous thank you to all the patrons for SDR over the last month who have really helped the channel grow into what it can be today. So to all of you, 2 big thumbs up. Thank you very much. And now the end card should be popping up, which will give you a few clickable links, like maybe to subscribe or head on over to my Patreon, or some short URLs like to my social media or to my Teespring store. There's also a video I hand selected for you, so if you want to watch another STR video, I hand selected some good content for you to watch, so definitely check out that video. Thank you again so much for watching, and I'll catch ya in the next video.